guys, late Monday. It's 10 to 12, or sorry, 10 to 11. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to carry on with tearing down on the Triumph. Pretty much I want to get this thing down to bare frame. Strip the frame right down, clean it, prep it, paint it, and then start cleaning up bits and pieces and getting them back on the bike one at a time. So yeah, it's going to be probably a few shots of me taking this thing apart. I'm just taking my time. Like I say, it's how I'm ending my day. So you know, I've already spent most of my energy. So yeah, I'll spend an hour or two on it and see how far we get. So I think I want to concentrate on all the things that are keeping the engine in place. I'd kind of like to get the engine out of this thing and open that up as well. Get it on a bench that I can move around. So that's the goal. So yeah, we're just going to carry on with Teardown. Okay, so I've been wrenching on this thing for about 2 hours, I guess, maybe a little bit more than that. And the engine's pretty close to being out. Probably get it out tomorrow night. So I'll show you real quick what I did. Let's grab the camera here. So, according to the manual, the engine goes out that way. The left goes out the left side. Instead of disconnecting the clutch cable, I just took the lever off, fed it through, and then wrapped it around here. So that's done. These wires here just unplugged. A couple of ignition wires. These I just cut them because they're already taped up in a bunch of places. So that's no good. I want to change those out anyway. You've got a mount up here. So I loosened it here and took them off the studs and then just kind of flipped them up and out of the way. There's a mount down here. I took the bolt out. There's a mounting plate. Goes here to catch here and here. I took that off. That also has your peg on it and all that. So, you know, I put all the bolts back in the holes where they belong. And so, you know, nothing gets missing. What else? Oh yeah, on the other side, I still have this mounting plate to get off. I got to get the nuts off these bolts from the back side. There's not enough room here to get a socket or a wrench in there. That'll move this peg and the brake pedal out of the way. I'll just let them hang. I've got to disconnect the chain and get that off of there. This here is, I think it's just a vent tube. Yeah, it comes up here and just exits out there. So I'll just disconnect that. And I guess we'll drain some oil out of this thing. I've got a couple of oil lines that I have to disconnect as well. These two oil lines here. These have to come off. And one more right here. Got to take that bolt out. So really, there's not that much, probably an hour or so, and I'll have the engine out. They say it's about 135 pounds, is what it weighs. So that's not too bad. But because I'm an old guy and I don't want to mess up my back, I'll probably get my my hoist out here, or a buddy, one of the two. I'll probably end up just hauling it out myself. Who am I kidding? But anyway, yeah. So once I get the motor out, I'm going to clear off the table so that I've got something to put it on. And then the rest of the stuff is just unbolting crap and whatever, you know, until I get it to the bare frame. So the motor's the toughest part. Okay, so it's the next night. Figured I'd do everything on this side of the bike first, and then I'm going to swing the table out and change the camera angle and focus on the other side, finish everything up over there. So I've been draining the oil. I'm just going to pull the bike back a little bit and see if we can get a little bit more out of it. Yeah, you here just make as small a mess as possible. There's always going to be a mess when you're doing this stuff, but yeah, I'll let a rag catch the rest of it. The oil was not very healthy. It was pretty dark, pretty black. So I can disconnect my 2 oil lines now. Okay. There's still going to be a little bit in there, but whatever, is what it is. Huh, not bad. There we go, that's the mess. Okay, not bad. I'll let that finish dripping and switch this around. Man, she's dirty. Dirty, dirty. We'll clean her up. Okay, so I've turned this thing around. When I left this the other night, there were the two bottom bolts to take out of this plate. It was a battle. I know stainless steel bolts seem like a good idea, but if you don't use something like Never Seas or something like that on, they are a bitch to take apart. It probably took me longer to get those 2 bolts out than a bunch of all the other stuff that I've done. So what I'm going to do here now, this is just hanging. I've disconnected the brake switch from the brake rod, and I'm backing off the adjuster, and I'm just going to pull the rod, plate, everything out in one shot. There's some pretty good tension on the brake lever, but you can hold it. You can hold it back. Now, theoretically, this should come out of there. There we go. Done. Okay, so last but not least, well, second last, I got the chain to take apart. Either find the master link or move the wheel forward and take it off that way. But I think the easiest way is to find the master link, take the chain apart, and then I got the bottom mount down here, and this thing should be ready to take out. Oh yeah, that's vent tube. I'll take that out right now. Anyway, I'll muck about for a bit longer, and when I'm ready to take this thing out, I'll come back. All right, so I found my master link and I popped the clip off. Go. There we go. One chain is off. I'll take this off, and I'm going to throw it in a can of plastic container full of oil. I'm just going to let that soak. And the longer it soaks, the better it is. So I've got this vent tube. Take that off right away, and then I've got the bottom mount, and she should be free and clear. Okay, so at this point, she's loose. And the only thing that seems to be stopping me are these two studs here and here. I broke this one free, and the stud and the nut are turning. So that's a good thing. Hopefully this happens as well. If I can get those two out, I should be able to weasel this engine out of here. So wish me luck. Okay, so I've been fighting with this sucker for about an hour and a half. It is so tight and is not coming off there. So I go back to the service manual that I have, and one of the very last sentences in the engine removal section is you may have to remove the cylinder heads. I guess I should have read further on. So anyway, I got on that, and I'll show you what we got. The heads were coming off anyway because I had to see what the cylinder was all about. So now I've got lots of clearance to get it out, so I'll show you what's going on. Just bear with me here. I'll move the camera a little bit. Okay, see if I can get you close here. I think what I'll do is I'll just unclip this. So, this one here, it's actually not too bad. There's a little ridge at the top, but that's kind of normal. In here, that's where the one that's seized up, that's the tranny fluid I put in there. And I'll tell you, it is just badly pitted. It's a rusty mess in there. So these jugs definitely have to go. So we'll be replacing that. But I guess I'll get rid of this tranny fluid and get the engine on my table. So this is my table. and it's a great engine table. When I pulled the push rods out, I made sure I kept them in the same order that I pulled them out of the engine. So this table's made out of steel. It's on wheels. It rolls around, and it's a double plywood top, 3/4 inch double, so 1.5 inches. So, you know, if your engine's wobbling around a little bit, you can screw a couple little pieces of wood to stabilize everything. And yeah, it's a good height. And I've used it for a whole bunch of different things, but we're going to be using it to rebuild this Triumph engine. Anyway, that's where I'm at. And yeah, damn. I tell you, I fought with this thing. You know, it was just rubbing right here. Even had to pull the bolt out of here because just to give me a little bit more room. It would hit the top. I took everything out that was hitting, and still I couldn't get it out. So pull it apart. Had to come apart anyway. What the hell? Make life easy. I should have just done it in the first place instead of fighting with it for a couple of hours. But you know, I'm an old guy and I'm stubborn. So that's just the way it is. Anyhow, we're gonna move on. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, so I gotta hit the hay, man. All right, so it's the next night. I'm going to first thing I'm going to do is suck this transmission fluid out of the cylinder, and I want to drain the bottom end. If anything, if I don't take the transmission fluid out when I pull this out of here, it will end up all over me, and I don't want that. So. Anyway, I'll finish this up, drain it, and then we'll pull this thing out and put it on the table. Okay, so there it is on the table out of the bike. All I did was I jacked it up at the front so it cleared this mount, then just slid it out and onto this plank sitting on a can, and until I could grab, you know, get a good bear hug on it, and just slide it over here. So it's on this table. This is going to be self-contained, all Triumph. Right now, I forgot to mention this, the bottom opens up. Actually, both sides do. There's a bunch of Honda stuff in there from a previous teardown. I'm going to take all that stuff out of there. It'll be just Triumph. So everything will be self-contained in this one spot. And yeah, the cylinder, it doesn't look as bad as it really is. It's deeply, deeply pitted, and yeah, it's messed up. So anyway, kind of knew that. So off we go. Now we can start stripping this thing down to the bare frame. The rest is easy. Just unbolting stuff, man. I gotta tell you though, it's frustrating working on these things. I mean, I put most of my tools away. I had 3 times as many wrenches as I'm showing here. Sometimes the metric would fit. Sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes it would be a standard. Sometimes I pulled out like one of these old oddball wrenches, and that would work. Different sockets, same thing. You need about 150 tools to take one of these apart. I don't know what it is, if it's just me or but I did some Googling on it, and apparently that's just the way it is on these things. So you got to take them one at a time. So it's super important to, you know, keep your studs, keep stuff like that, because you know, put your bolts back on, because you don't know what these threads are. The pitch might be a little bit different or whatever. So keep them together, put everything back in the hole where they belong. Yeah, because you could have nightmares trying to figure out what bolt goes where and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to carry on, and that'll be it for today's video. I'll just wrap it up shortly. So there you go, done in a much more reasonable time than last night. Last night was kind of stupid, 3 o'clock in the morning, too late. But you know, made quick work of it tonight. It's an hour and I had it out, so I guess it was worth it. You know, even though the first video on this bike, the numbers were down from what I usually get, they're upticking, and there's a lot of interest in this thing. I think it's going to get a following of its own. I put out some feelers on Facebook and stuff like that, and there's a ton of interest in it. So I'm going to try and put a video out on the Bonneville every Sunday. You know, if I shoot 2-3 minutes a night, I'll have enough for a video every Sunday, and that's how I'm going to try and roll it, and we'll see how it goes, you know. But it's a really cool bike, and I think guys are going to get into it. You know, a lot of my regular viewers like bikes as well, so already bringing in some new ones in, new subscribers and stuff like that. So it's always good, and it's nice to have a little change of pace once in a while. You know, I've been covering that truck for almost 2 years, so I thought I'd throw something in there that would break it up a little bit and maintain my sanity. So yeah, it's all good. If you like the content, please subscribe. I truly would appreciate it. And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. And you know, if you're not doing anything else, get out the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.